So here is day 27 working with Escher. And again, I've been competing with my event horses, so he's had some off and on work. And I am preparing him with the rope for the saddle. I've been doing a fair amount of work playing with just sitting on him bareback. And doing a fair amount of liberty work, which has been really fun. And now I'm going to go and use this rope that I have and preparing him for the saddle. So I have it around his girth area right there and just putting very little pressure on there. And my round pin is a little bit slick, so I'm going to be a little careful with how much pressure I put on him today. So he's doing pretty good with this. I have it pretty mild, nothing too tight. I'm going to flop it around a little bit, asking him to move forward and getting used to having that feeling of something around his girth area. And then I go and I put a fair amount more pressure on there, and he did a good job to stop. I like to teach my horses to learn to move forward with the pressure, as well as if they get nervous or tight, they can stop, and that will release the pressure as well. So there he moved really nicely sideways when I asked him to. And I'm going to work this all the way back to his flank so he can have some experience for if anything like that was supposed to happen. But you can see he has a pretty good response to this. He is allowed to kind of, it's pretty well expected to have a horse to kind of buck to this, but he did not. So I rewarded him with a positive reward there. Now moving back. And again, he moves off the pressure pretty nicely. And I'm just going to push him out of my space just a little bit. He's wanting to be pretty close, and I want him to feel it when he's moving a little bit more forward. And give him a good rub there. Now I'm going to take it off, and he's already doing a lot better. Sometimes the rope in the very beginning would cause him some anxiety, but he's handling it pretty well now. I'll give him a reward for standing nicely. And of course I gave the cluck. And anytime he takes a deep breath, you can see the rope, it has a generous loop on there, so it's very easy to release. So working on both sides so he can get seeing that rope coming off the side on the right eye as well as the left. And again, he's handling this pretty well, which is always nice. And give him a reward for when I said the word whoa. And now I move the rope a little bit further back. I'm going to hold my space there so he knows to go around me. And I'm a little close. If he was to start bucking, I'd have to be careful, because I kind of right there made a mistake of standing in front. If he was to explode, he could kind of come over top of me, so that's always something to be mindful of. Always want to be on the side so the horse has an exit. I'm able to move it to the flank, and he's moving pretty forward. I'm going to add a little bit of pressure here. Got a little tail swish, but he softened. And I'm going to give him a reward. And then flipping the rope off, asking him to go forward to step out of the loop. Did that really nice and calmly. So now I'm going to do a little bit more with the rope in a different position. It's kind of like a fold type rope when you're teaching foals to kind of get used to something on their bum. You can see he slips a little bit. Again, the footing's a little slick. This causes him a little bit more anxiety than when it was around his belly. That's okay. I'm just going to keep repositioning him. And I do have to be careful to not get tangled up in the ropes. It can take a fair bit of practice to be coordinated enough. But this isn't the first time. So there you gave a really nice response. I'm going to reward that. And here I'm able to put on a little bit more pressure. Taking the feel of the rope. And then I can ask with the voice cue to ask him to step forward. And then switching the rope to the other side. So again, having me in the sight on either side can make a difference. You can see he got a little nervous there, wants to change direction, so I'm just going to hold, redirect. And because I have done so much kind of groundwork with the Liberty, it's very nice and handy in doing this. I'm going to give him a reward. There, he's handling the pressure nicely. And then the rope fell off, which is pretty common. So now I'm going to change positions. And I will place the rope kind of around his neck, kind of like a breastplate. Again, prepping for the tack. And then this works really well with, I can then flip the slack over the other side of his back, which I should do here in just a minute. You can see he still gets a little worried sometimes, but work in progress. So now I can get that rope to kind of dangle down by his hocks. And he's got one ear, he's trying to think about it. He wants to change directions again, and I'm just going to reposition. And he's handling this pretty well. And again, I'm going to flip to the other side. And this is all going really smoothly. And it helps, he's making my job pretty easy. And I rewarded him there, and then he took a nice deep breath, so I will give another reward for relaxation. Because again, he used to get pretty anxious about the rope. So he's getting pretty good about it. And while he is a pretty quiet-minded guy, he is still pretty sensitive. So I've tried to make sure I can be sensitive as well for him. And you see he's handling this pretty good. And I asked for the whoa. He stopped when I asked. So I felt like that was a pretty good day with that, and decided to quit there because he did all the things I asked him to, and we will go forward to another day, and was really pleased with how he handled himself today.